What time should you go to the gym for the best performance possible? Is it in the morning or is it closer to nighttime? In this video, we're going to break that down and we are going to cover your circadian rhythm, what it is and how it affects your energy levels, how training affects your sleep, morning versus afternoon versus nighttime workouts, as well as peak CNS activation times and peak glycogen levels. Please ignore the spelling mistake. I am borderline dyslexic. Quick introduction to who I am. My name is Mustafa. I make videos to help gym bros live better lives and train better. Subscribe if you want more of these videos in your feed. Plus, we are trying to get to 1,000 subs by end of June, so anything you can do will be greatly appreciated. But without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into it. First thing I want to say is do not train first thing in the morning. You see, I used to wake up every single day at 4 a.m. when I used to live in Newcastle, and I would go to the gym. I'll be there 4:30/5 a.m. and my training sessions were good, but I was making zero results, and I basically plateaued for a year because of the following three reasons. You see, when you wake up, your central nervous system is not active, and any caffeine you take in the morning will actually not wake it up by that much. You see, CNS is in charge of moving the muscles and contracting them. So if you wake up and try and squeeze your fist, just contract your fist, you'll find that you kind of can't. Right now, it's middle of the day, I'm awake, and initially I can squeeze my fist, get a good contraction, good squeeze. But if I do it first thing I wake up, like try it tomorrow when you wake up, squeeze your fist, and you'll notice it's kind of like you just can't. For some reason, you feel weak and soft. And that's because your CNS is literally asleep. Your brain is awake, but your CNS is not. So when you go to the gym, your CNS will be a bit more awake, enough to contract some muscles, but not enough to truly push and add a high amount of intensity to generate hypertrophy. Plus, you will get a low effect from caffeine because your body's receptors are not highly responsive for the first 2 hours of the day. So those receptors in your body that are in charge of absorbing and breaking down caffeine are not ready to absorb it. So what happens is you have your caffeine, you might get a small energy boost, but what it will do really is increase your caffeine tolerance because you're consuming it without giving you as big of an energy boost if you just waited 2 or 3 hours. So it's literally the worst of both worlds, where you're building up your tolerance and not really getting that boost, just getting the caffeine crash without the initial benefits. And caffeine is used as a way to wake up and speed up CNS activation. But if you have it that early on in the morning, it won't really have much of an effect, just because, like I mentioned, your body just isn't ready to absorb caffeine and break it down. Plus, you need to make sure you have caffeine with some food. Any supplement, whether it be vitamins, multivitamins, omega-3, all experts tell you to have it with some food, like a banana, protein shake with your breakfast, etc. So if you have it by itself, then your body just isn't able to absorb it that well. In the morning, if you train that early on, you probably haven't had much food, so less of that caffeine is getting utilized than you might think. And you will also not have that high of glycogen levels because you just woke up, you didn't receive a chance to eat much food or any carbohydrates. And if you do eat something, what you'll find is that that food is still digesting by the time you go to the gym. Food actually takes a long time to digest. Like, we're talking 2 to 3 hours most of the time if it's like a medium-sized meal. So you go into the gym, even if you have a meal, like a small breakfast, there's still food in your guts, so your body is sending blood towards your digestion rather than towards the muscles you are training. And the less blood flow you have, the worse of a pump you get, the less contraction you get, and the less output you're able to go out. So if you train first thing in the morning, you're just not going to be able to make that much gains, because in order to build muscle, you truly got to break it down. You got to train extremely hard to the point you are making weird faces. You got to generate as much intensity as possible, while of course training with correct form. So when you have these 3 points going against you, it makes it very difficult to generate any hypertrophy, especially as a natural lifter who needs all the help they can get. And secondly, do not train at the end of the day. Training at the end of the day will increase your heart rate and activate your central nervous system, which will worsen your sleep, and worse sleep literally means less hypertrophy, so you're building less muscle, because muscle gets built while you are asleep. Because when you train, you're increasing your heart rate, your blood flow, your blood pressure, you're building up adrenaline because you're training hard, listening to intense music, I assume. And let's say you do that right before you go to bed, then what happens is getting your heart rate and adrenaline levels and blood pressure back to a normal, but then not just to normal, get them to a low enough level to fall asleep and get high quality sleep becomes impossible. And it even then makes it impossible to have any caffeine because it's too close to your bedtime. You will simply stay up all night. So you can't have caffeine, you can't really go that hard, otherwise you're gonna have really bad sleep. And if you do go that hard, your sleep will get ruined, and sleep is equally important for building muscle as the training itself. Plus you're mentally fatigued because you just finished work, spoken to people, socialized all day, so you're not quite fresh. But right, you've been there, I've been there, those magical late night workouts where you just have like 500 milligrams of caffeine, you've had carbs all day, you go and train and the pump is just fucking crazy. Bro, I've been there. I've had those late night workouts, like, because end of the day, that's when you've had all your meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, snacks, so you have peak carb levels, peak glycogen levels, so you have that going for you. And a lot of the time I find myself, when I'm in a bad mood, I go to the gym like really late at night, like 1 fucking a.m. and have like so much caffeine, enough to tranquilize 2 baby horses. And these workouts are magical, they're sick, bro, I've been there. But issue with them is they're not sustainable. They're really not. You cannot get away with it. If you do that, it's fun, it's sick, but it's gonna fuck up your progress in the long run. You can only do it like once every 2 weeks, really, when you know you had nothing planned the next day. And even then, the quality of sleep you get, even if you're able to sleep for 10-12 hours, is going to be terrible for the reasons I previously mentioned, because sleep quality won't be that good. So even though it can be fun to train at night, bro, don't make it a habit. Just don't do it. Trust me, I've trained in the morning for years, trained at the nighttime for years, and both of them significantly slowed down my progress. So I know those demon late night workouts can be fun, but it's best not to make them a habit. So then, when is the best time to train? This is a picture of me after I finished Tom Platz's leg day, and I almost passed out because blood pressure was going straight to my head after the workout finished. The best training times, there are 2 main ones. 2 to 4 hours after waking up if you're someone who likes to train in the morning. So at that point, it's enough time to eat carbohydrates and digest them and have energy. Your CNS is active, it's now awake, especially if you had like an ice bath or a cold shower, just like a quick 2-minute dose of cold water. That will really do wonders in terms of waking up your CNS and boosting your dopamine levels. And your caffeine absorption receptors are ready to absorb caffeine, which in turn will give you more energy, as well as wake up your CNS even more, put you in a position where you're able to contract muscles very well, and just let you have a very solid flow state training session. That's why I would not recommend training right away, but wait 2 to 4 hours, ideally 3 hours, that's the perfect sweet spot, and go to the gym. Or alternatively, around noon, assuming you wake up at a reasonable time, 4 to 8 a.m., not one of those people who just go to bed at like 2 a.m. and wake up at like 2 p.m. With this, you get all the benefits of morning training, plus you have more glycogen because you would have had your breakfast, maybe lunch, as well as a pre-workout meal. So at this point, you've had a lot of energy, and if you're cutting, I highly recommend you train at this time, around noon, because that's when you have the most carbs, and when you cut and you have less food to play with, you have less energy. So playing around with your carbohydrate intake becomes a lot more important. So if you're cutting, train around noon, but morning time is also perfect for anyone looking to optimize their performance. These are the 2 times I would recommend for everyone. And make sure your training session ends 4 hours before your bedtime, latest. That is, if you're looking to optimize both training and sleep, because sleep plays a big role in building muscle, so does your training. Ideally, 6 hours or more before your bed is the perfect sweet spot, because at that point, let's say you train in the morning or afternoon, your session would have finished around 3-4 p.m. You go to bed at like 8 to 10 p.m. That would have been 6+ hours. And this way, like I mentioned, good sleep, you build a muscle, good training sessions, as well as you have a healthy, functioning lifestyle. You have control of your life, which will give you better mental health. And the better your mental health is, the more control you have over your diet, and the better you feel throughout the day, which meaning the better output and performance you're able to give in the gym. So it's literally an all-around win-win if you make sleep a big priority while also getting the most out of your training. And I quickly want to mention your circadian rhythm. So what is circadian rhythm? It's the body's daily cycle of peak energy levels, sleep, rest, and digest. It's different for everyone, but it'll be similar for most people who live in the same country. So do not focus on this too much. I saw a lot of science-based lifters really put a lot of emphasis on it. It doesn't really matter. It's literally when you feel you have the most energy, which is for most people, it'll be around noon. Hence why I recommend training around noon as the most efficient time for training. Don't stress over it. Honestly, it's not that important. It's too sciencey, and with fitness and these kind of topics, if you overthink them, that's when they start being fun, and that's when you kind of begin to sort of stress over it. You go, oh no, I gotta train at this time, I want to do this, otherwise I'm gonna hit this optimal blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Well, bro, just trust me, don't worry about it too much. It unnecessarily overcomplicates it. You're still getting 100% the benefits by simply following these rules/advice. And if you can't control when you train because of work or lifestyle or kids or whatever, do not stress over it. Just cool, let's accept the fact, okay, I'm training in the morning, is what it is, can't do anything about it, no problem. When you stress over it, you kind of begin to worry, you build cortisol, which breaks down muscle and makes it harder to recover. So just accept it and go, okay, cool. Plus, the difference between training at the morning or at nighttime versus training here it's noticeable. It's around 20% difference, to be honest, which if someone trains for multiple years, that's a big impact. So I would just say, if you can't train at those peak times, then maybe try to change your lifestyle, or just accept the fact that's the best time. That's when you can train, and you'll still be able to make very good progress anyway. So it doesn't matter too much. That's the end of the video. If you like one-to-one online coaching, achieve your dream physique and become an advanced lifter, that'll be the first link in the description. If you have any questions about any of this or would like me to elaborate further, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. And as usual, thank you for your time and attention. It is a valuable resource, and I appreciate you giving it to this video. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.